Leader of the third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Yesterday, the International Energy Agency released a report laying out the world's energy roadmap to achieve net zero by 2050. This landmark report shows a clear decline in the North American natural gas industry. It says that private finance will now need to recognize that these heavily subsidized megaprojects are at risk of becoming stranded assets. Energy commentators are talking about the systemic risks, including stranded asset risk of overinvestment in gas. We already knew that this government's plan to give billions of dollars in subsidies to the fossil fuel industry is bad for the climate. The IEA report shows that it's bad for our economy, too. Honourable Speaker, it is reckless for this government to invest billions in LNG, which clearly represents a serious climate and financial risk. My question for you is to the Minister of Energy, Mines and Low Carbon Innovation. How does the minister justify spending billions of taxpayer dollars on LNG, which increasingly looks like it will become a stranded asset?
Minister of Energy, Mines and Low Carbon Innovation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the Leader of the Third Party for her question. The study came out, the International Energy Agency report, just yesterday, and we will be reviewing how its key findings apply here in British Columbia. The report is focused on the global energy market, and it will take a little while to decide and analyze it as to how it applies in British Columbia. We are committed as a government to strong climate action through Clean BC, which includes actions across sectors to reduce emissions and build a clean economy for everyone. We have ambitious targets, including an interim target and sectoral targets, and leading policies to help us make progress towards our goals to cut pollution and support people. So we're currently developing a roadmap to meet our greenhouse gas emission targets and put us on a path to meeting net zero by 2050, which will be released later this year. Emissions from LNG Canada's first phase and BC's natural gas production forecast is already accounted for in the greenhouse gas modeling for Clean BC.
Leader of third party on supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I'm increasingly feeling like we're in an Orwellian universe here, where strong climate action from this government includes the largest point source of greenhouse gas emissions and a massive uptick in methane emissions from fracking in Northeast BC. Meanwhile, the rest of the world seems to be getting on board with net zero. We are going in the opposite direction. Honourable Speaker, the International Energy Association is the most authoritative energy body in the world. This isn't a report from an environmental group. This is not the Green Party that is saying this. IEA scenarios drive global investment strategies and government policy. They're warning that there will be a deep decline in global demand for oil and gas, and that we do not need any new LNG projects, including those that are already in construction. They have killed the idea of LNG as a transition fuel, saying that countries must transition directly to clean energy. And yet, against this backdrop, this NDP government is doubling down on fracking and LNG and pouring billions of dollars of taxpayer money into this folly. My question again is to the Minister of Energy, Mines and Low Carbon Innovation. What will it take for this government to admit that they made the wrong gamble on LNG and to walk away from this environmentally and economically disastrous project?
Minister of Energy, Mines and Low Carbon Innovation. Minister, unmute yourself, please.
Sorry, I thought I'd left it on. Thank you very much for the question. The report, which is a very comprehensive one, which is being digested globally, came as a bit of a surprise, I think, to many observers. Certainly that's the view in many of the financial papers around the world as they analyze this report. we have a strong climate action plan, and we are pursuing it. Any decision to make further investments in the LNG sector is largely a private sector decision, and the one project that's proceeding, the LNG Canada project, is already accounted for in the greenhouse gas modeling for Clean BC. So that's where the situation is in British Columbia, and the private sector will make its own decisions and its own evaluation of that report. But here in British Columbia, any future LNG project that's proposed must meet our 4 conditions, and one of those conditions is fitting within our climate commitments.